He always loved football since the day he was born. Since the day he was walking, he started walking at 11 months old, and he always had a ball, kicked the ball. Then just always played with the lads in the flats, and everyone said he was so strong playing football. And then he went to play for Dingle United, was his first team, and then of course Belvo is his team that he loves so much. He played with them for years, and everyone said he was strongest young fella they knew playing football, and he was left-footed. And he loved football.
First time we met him, Graham Kearns came across him. He said he'd seen this really, really special player. And as a young lad, we hear that a lot with the young lads. So we went to watch him, myself and Graham, and I knew straight away we needed him. He was not only a smashing player, but also a great teammate to the rest of the lads. And particularly in Belvedere, where a lot of teams always want to beat you all the time, so sometimes you need a bit of a tough guy like Graham on the pitch, but also a really, really good teammate to the rest of the lads who we knew would support him all the time.
Leader straight away. Funny, sarcastic. Like, as I said, I'll talk about in the final and stuff, but he's just a tough fella. Like, stuff he's went through, nobody in the world will go through it as much as he did and come back and play and stuff, you know. It's just, when you even talk about him, you just thinking the pictures and the images throughout games and stuff that got you going. He's just a great fella.
Every hour, yeah. The minute he was out from school, he was out on the streets till day and night. I had to call him for dinner and all, and just play football. And Man United was his favourite team too. They all just said he was really tough, and he had a temper with the ball too. Yeah. They always came down to pick him up in the van and all, which was so very supportive, of them. Yeah. So he always got to play all the matches. Yeah. Never missed them unless he was really, really sick.
Absolutely. And it's only recently I met some of the lads and they were always asking about, remember the old days in the blue bus? Because obviously we had the blue bus, we used to travel around Ireland. And I know even one time we travelled to Scotland, but we didn't bring the bus with us at that time. But it was still, and I think you need that. And I think you need that to run any successful team. You need a bit of camaraderie, a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke. And obviously Graham was more than that at the front of a lot of the jokes, particularly with some of his teammates. But no one ever took it serious. It was a laugh and a joke. But when it came to the game, every person in that bus, particularly Graham, changed, and they knew what the important thing was. And it was about putting on that Belvedere shirt and about winning as many games as we could. And we were a very successful team, and Graham was at the centre of all of that.
Yeah, that's the famous blue bus that we all just get picked up in. And we used to get Graham on the way. I used to meet Anto, the manager, in Larkin. He'd go up there, and every time he got in, he was like, "Welcome to the jungle," about Devon, but when he got in straight away, he'd be joking and messing. And if you pick up Milky, he's always on Milky's case, giving him a bit of stick and having some laugh, but he's always smiling and joking.
He first got sick, it was just after Christmas in 2007, and he was suffering with his stomach, and we just thought it was because he was eating chocolate and stuff and all. And then it went on for a good few weeks. He was off school and all, and then obviously he was in Temple Street for 3 weeks, I think it was. And then we got diagnosed it was the cancer, and it was a very, very rare tumour. Like only 50 people in the UK had it. So he went, as you know, from like chemo, radiotherapy to England, 2 major surgeries, and got back fighting again. Had to have his back open, steel staples in it, and he got football again. He used to come in with the big scar on his back and the radiotherapy scar, and would be bruises all over him from being that strong again. Came back fighting again, but the third time, unfortunately, it was too bad. He had to leave football, and that was devastating for everyone.
He was just that gel in the middle where when you knew you were going down the country probably and you knew you were going to come up against a really, really tough game, you knew that Graham would be there for you all the time. And he was on many occasions, which then obviously, as we spoke about earlier, turned out to be himself scoring the winning penalty in the All-Ireland under 17s, which was ironic at the time. It was probably the last time he played. I think there was probably one other game after that, and if people could see the size of the fella he was marking, it was unbelievable. Graham played out of his skin and through pain at the time because he was struggling with injuries. The back was really, really sore at the time, but typical Graham wouldn't give in.
Yeah, it was probably even maybe a second time coming back, I'm not sure what it was, but that was like, people talk about in their careers about people who like stuck through their minds about like leading on the pitch. Anybody can ask on that pitch that day, like he won that game for us. He was just an absolute hero, and no one else could have done what he done struggled with the illness he had and come back and done that. Like, you know, he scored the penalty and stuff, and the crowd hated him because of how good he was. You know, crowd don't like people who are bad players, because he ran the show that day. You know, he was tough. He was Cork, the team we played, were very tough. In fairness, they weren't like a good ball inside, but they're very physical, and he even put up to anyone, you know. And even the show when he scored a penalty, they were giving him abuse and stuff, you know. And his dad was in the crowd as well, you know. I don't know him, but he's a big fella, and I can see his dad just there looking at the whole crowd, you know. But Graham was just shushing him, but that memory will stick for me forever.
It meant more than anything to him. He just loved it. He had such a passion for football. It was so strong. And he just fought till he could, you know. Really did. I couldn't believe it myself, because you seen there was a big lump still sticking out of his back, even from the surgery and the scars and all. I couldn't believe how good he done, you know, and he was still brilliant, like, yeah, so strong and powerful, you know. Everyone came to support him. Like, before he died, he was supposed to go to that match there. Now you'll see the letters, and he actually died before the match. He got free tickets to go in the wheelchair and all, and unfortunately he died. So Man United sent me over the big flag and the 2 letters, and then the FAI. Everyone was always there to support him. Belvedere, yourself, Jamie, everyone, you know. Yeah, he looked really amazing for the 3rd time. He was going to the gym, my brother and all, and we were actually shocked. Me and Graham went in for the scan, and the doctor turned around and said there was a shadow there again, and he was devastated this time. He actually cried and all in the lift, and I never seen him break down that much, because it was the 3rd time. And he was getting older, and we really thought it wasn't going to come back this time, you know. And then, unfortunately, then he just got sicker and sicker, you know.
It was really a difficult time. We brought, I think once or twice we went over to the hospital with some of the lads, and then I decided not to, because I think it was just too much for Graham and too much for the lads, because they seen Graham as this really strong, authoritative person on the pitch who would dominate things. And you can see Graham when he was at his weakest. It wasn't, the lads just didn't want to see him like that, because that wasn't the Graham that I think they should remember by. Because I don't remember Graham by that young lad in the hospital. I remember him getting in, putting in tackles, winning games on his own some of the times, particularly down the country when it's really, really tough. And you need someone with a bit of bite. And Graham had a bit more than a little bit of a bite.
Like, if you've seen how he played on the pitch, you wouldn't think there's one bit wrong with him, or had before. But, you know, like, he literally put everything onto the pitch, and that's what I loved beside him. When I first came, he upended me in a challenge, you know, and he was like, he apologised to me afterwards. He apologised to me, but he said to me, look, this is going to be a tough one, so you need to stick it in. And that's where me and him in the middle with Skelly also, with Sean, like, we're a tough midfield, you know. But you also then went to Bowes afterwards, and I never even thought of that, of might come back in him, or like, I knew sometimes back up in Bowes the 19s, he was suffering with it, you know. We wouldn't tell anybody. That's why he was like, he wouldn't be telling the coach and stuff, only when it was really, really sore. And that just shows what kind of character he is. He'd have to be dragged off the pitch or train, you know. Yeah, he had it all, you know. Like, he was the midfield general, like, you know. He was tough. He was get the ball down. He can play. He was only small, but he was like the salmon in the air. He was leaping. His leap is unbelievable. Played up top early on, and then he dropped into the midfield, sitting there, you know. And maybe that was probably to do with, maybe he was struggling, say, with his illness, but he couldn't move around as much, so I was doing all the running with him, you know. But he could have definitely made it in the UK, 100%, no doubt. Like, and everybody who watched him had said the same thing. Like, so it's not as if just because I'm on the team. You can ask anybody who probably played against him, be the same. They would be like, he's probably the toughest player, but he also had quality and he could dictate the tempo, you know.
It really is, yeah, because he just went downhill after that, like, you know, when he fought still, he was drinking, like, green juices, wheatgrass shots, even in the hospice till he died, and he was in the hospice for, like, 5 months. He'd get out now and again to go to his pictures or go to my brother's, his girlfriends, whatever, you know, stuff like that. I couldn't believe how still good he was doing, you know, till he went into coma. Actually, on Mother's Day, he went into coma that night, and we got the sad news the next day, which was, like, heartbreaking, you know, that he was in a coma. Even the hospital was shocked because he was so strong. They just thought it was the morphine pumps, that he was asleep, but he wasn't, you know. So it was devastating. And then when he did die, as you said, he didn't even look like he was dead, really, you know. He looked like really is not even sick looking.
And it's not only the football, as I always keep saying, like, he was a nice person, and sometimes people can forget that. The football is how we met each other and how the lads all met each other. But outside of that, they were friends. Outside of that, they went out together. Outside of that, they hung around together. The football was the gel that just brought them together. But the most important thing I remember is that he was a nice person, and I think he was a smashing footballer, but a really, really nice person and a really good teammate to his fellow teammates.
I try to go up sometimes, you know, if I'm around daily Mount early for training and stuff like that, and myself and yourself has went up a few times the same, you know, and we do just sit there, and it's, you know, it's not right. It's someone who could have went so far, and not just football and life, you know, and to see you're sitting there, and why are you, like, blessed for having to play football now, and life just isn't fair, but it's very tough, like, at times, like, I'd say, on his family, you know. I never met his family much, but just to see someone so young and so, like, energetic and hard working and everything he done, you know, like, all goes down to nothing then, you know. It was terrible that when what happened, like, but you're seeing by the funeral, the turnout shows what impact he had on everybody across football and his friends, you know.
I'll just class him as, like, a brilliant footballer, obviously a great son, cheeky as well. But yeah, he just had so much talent. He was really strong looking and mentally, which was the best, you know. He was really older than his years, I thought. And most of his friends, you know, was a bit older than him. I think Graham was the youngest in all the little crew, you know, definitely for the football and I, you know. He was always about 3 years younger than most of his friends, you know. He was always the youngest, but went on the oldest sometimes, yeah. You know the way he went on, yeah.
He's very sarcastic. He's a great, like, the character he was. Even Tony, the assistant manager, every call, he'd be always slagging Tony, you know, coming up on his bike and stuff. But the one image that has to be down the Cork, that, like, puts me, like, back to memories of him. Like, it's just an ultimate performance of any captain, anything, like, you'll ever want or you look up to in life and football. Like, that was just a complete performance, and if you could play like that every day, you'd be playing in England. He's just a warrior on the pitch, like.
Yeah, it is very hard. Like, sometimes you just want to break down, you know, so much, and it's just, I just fight because he fighted so much, you know, because I know that's what he'd want, and my mum and all. Yeah, we just have to do our best to stay strong, which is really hard, you know, sometimes. Even though definitely we have a canvas on the wall here, you'll see as well. People got me made as definitely hero. They all class him as a hero around here. Even when he died, the church was like, it was like a film star or something. Yeah, everyone loved him, you know. Yeah, because he was such a strong and, yeah, strong person, you know, really.